Hey y'all, it's your girl Bettina, and I am starting our new series, Sis Get the Job. And I don't know how many videos it's going to be about, but we are going to talk about everything from salary negotiation, interviews, your resume, and in true lore consulting fashion, we are going to talk about what the employer does so you can use that information to your advantage. So we're going to talk about the types of recruiting, passive and active, and we're going to talk about things to keep in mind for whether you're applying to a Fortune 500 company or to a smaller company with about 20 or less employees. So passive versus active recruiting. There are two types of recruiting. Active means that you are out there searching. You are out there looking for a job. You may or may not have a job, but you are submitting your resume to companies and recruiters are looking at it. And so therefore that makes you an active candidate. If you are a passive candidate, you are not looking for a job. You probably have a job already that you are either happy with or you're at least content with it, and you're not out there looking. However, a recruiter saw your resume somewhere, like LinkedIn, for example, and it decides to reach out to you and hopefully get you to have a phone screening or come in for an interview. That makes you a passive candidate. Majority of my videos are going to be towards active candidates, but really there's not a difference of what you should do between passive or being a passive or an active candidate. However, being a passive candidate does give you a slight advantage. So I will do one video on that advantage and how you should use it. So as an active candidate, you apply to a job. What then happens? So more than likely, if it's a Fortune 500 company, you submitted it online. You submitted your resume and your application to that company's career website or on their LinkedIn page or somewhere, and they are using a system. And the system received your resume. And the system is the one at first that is really reviewing your resume. Keep that in mind. We are in the technology age, and more jobs that people used to do are being done by systems. So if you think about your past applications, weren't there application questions like, are you 18 years or older? Have you ever been convicted of a crime? Have you, are you eligible to work in this country? There's always those questions. And so now that we are using systems, now that we're in the technology age, you really have to pay attention to your responses to those questions, because the systems will knock you out based off of your response. So if you have are you 18 years or older, and you say no, some companies use their systems to automatically knock you out or automatically reject you because you're not 18, because their minimum age requirement is for the employee to be 18 years or older. So you want to be really, the questions are very simple and we all rush through them, but really just take an extra 5 seconds to really make sure that you're answering the questions appropriately so you don't knock yourself out because of a mistake. The next thing, if you get past the knockout and a recruiter is actually reviewing applications and resumes, don't think that if it's a Fortune 500 company that they are reviewing every single resume application. They are not. I promise you they are not. Okay? They have too many resumes to review. If they are a large company, they have probably, depending on how large they are, if it's like a company that we all know, let's say Walmart, they probably have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of openings on their website. But if you go to a company that only has maybe 500 companies, they still have like maybe 20. That's still a lot. And that's still a lot of applications to run through. And you got to think about it. The recruiters have metrics on their own to meet in order to make sure they keep their job. Okay? So they've got to make sure they are filling these positions in a timely manner so they can keep that's what they're measured against. They're measured against their time, how long it takes them to fill these positions. amongst other things. So you want to make sure, but that's what's happening. So more than likely, so they can stay efficient, they're not reading every single resume. They are doing a search for keywords. So they're going to their job opening in the system and they are looking at all the people who have applied. They're clicking a button almost like Google, and they're searching for a keyword like administrative, or if it's like a nursing position, they're looking for a nursing certification. Or if it's an accounting position, they're looking for certain systems that QuickBooks. They're looking for QuickBooks to make sure it's on your resume. And whoever has that word in their resume pulls up in the system, maybe out of 50, they may get 15. And those are the 15 resumes they're looking at. So you have to always keep that in mind. If it's a smaller company, 20 or less employees, maybe even 100 or less employees, it's probably one person looking at these resumes. Okay, so more than likely they are looking through all the resumes, or at least looking through as many as they can until they find the right one. But it's more than likely one person. It's either the person who's hiring, looking through the resumes, or they have one recruiter who does all the recruiting for that one company, and that one person is looking through all the resumes for all of their openings. They too are strapped for time. So they're going to look through the resumes until they get to one or a few that meet the requirements, and they're going to call those people. So if they have 50 resumes and they get to 35 and you're number 36 and they found 5 people amongst the 35 they looked at, they're not getting to 36. So your resume has to be strong for whatever it is that you do. I don't care what you do. You have to have all of the words. Look for all of the hot key words. You have to have them in your resume to make sure that your resume pulls up. So to wrap up what we've talked about today, we talked about the differences between active and passive candidates. We talked about some key things to consider with recruiting with smaller versus larger companies. So make sure that you are paying attention to the questions that you are answering in a system for when you are applying to a job. Make sure that everything is correct. 2, make sure your resume has all of the hot keywords for the position that you're applying for. So whatever it is that you do, you know those keywords, make sure they're on your resume. And number 3, listen, if you don't get called back, don't worry about it. You will get a job. It wasn't yours if you didn't get the call. Don't worry about none of that. You will get a call and you will be okay. All right, y'all. That's my time. Have a great one. I hope everyone has a happy holiday. I will still be doing videos in the holiday, but either way, have a great one. Bye, y'all.